Alrighty, so we are starting a new cross stitch. Thankfully, loops usually comes already pre-done and everything, so you don't have to actually do the symbols and so forth, which is not always common. Usually you have to make your own card, you have to make your own symbols, but thankfully these guys already came done and prepped. Now I'm still going to be editing the design of this because the design is, in my opinion, very plain. This would be the design. And then also, so like symbols like these, they don't have them on the actual card. So what I usually do is I end up going back and I match the symbol to the number, so that way I can just easily look at the card, go, okay, this is the symbol I need, and whatnot. So as you can see, there's the half ones and then there's the full ones, and the half ones usually you have to mix in with other ones. And by mix in, I mean like one strand this, one strand that, especially if there is a colliding one. Or it could be just one singular diagonal. It really depends on the cross stitch. The first cross stitch I ever did a lot of ones where you had to mix two strands together in order to get the color. It looks like this one doesn't have that many, which is good, very good, because I do not want to deal with that. But yeah, I shall let you know as this progresses. Also, for this, it comes with a needle. Do not be afraid if you lose the needle. I always lose the needle. What you really want to do is you want to find the center of this. Now, I find it by matching up the corners of everything. Just fold and fold. And then I get a pencil and I mark the center. And the reason why I do this is so that when I stretch it back out, it's still there and I don't have to worry about refinding it. Now, something that a lot of people honestly do is they just lightly trace along the side and then they'll fold it back over the other way and trace along the side again. I don't like to do that because then it becomes harder for me to hide it with the stitching. I also tend to go to here. I go along the thing, find where the middle meets, and I mark it with the pencil. So that way, again, I know where to start, because I personally was taught and like to start from the center and then move outward. Not everyone enjoys doing that. Not everyone is appreciative of that. A lot of people will find the different corners, sometimes even mark the different squares, and then move from square to square to square to square along the grid. I don't like to do that. I like to find the middle and then move from middle outward. But again, that's me personally. Not everyone does that, especially if you've got something where it's like mainly border edges and not very much one big picture, but just writing in the middle and then border images all the way along. If it's something like that, then yes, I do suggest just counting straight down, because I usually do straight down and then still along the center line, move outward, which is what I did for that one. I worked from the horse to the cat to the dog to the snake. So I basically did all the animals, and then I did the riding, and then after the fact I did the pig, the ferret. Couldn't think of the name for a second, but it's stuff like that that I talk about with editing it, because the original cross stitch just had I'm a hot mess. I'm not a hot mess, I'm a spicy disaster. And then I added all the animals on the edge. So I did that personally. But again, you can see what I mean. When I do the border stuff first, I count and I figure out how big I want it and how much space I'm going to need for it. So it's things like that. Like you can always go back and cover it up. It really just depends.